Clive Barker Podcast Audio Commentaries.
Thanks to your generous donations to our Kickstarter funding campaign,
Clive Barker Podcast presents Fundraiser 6, Bill Seeker.
Hey, welcome to Clive Barker Podcast, episode number 224. And today we're going to be doing commentary track for the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, episodes 5 and 6. And as usual, I'm Joe.
And I'm Ryan.
So, yeah, I've been getting a better insight, and I've been understanding the show a little bit better. I think people might have thought that I was getting a little too dismissive on episodes 3 and 4 commentary tracks because I guess I was kind of coming to terms with the show, and I was like, it feels like this show's not for me. But then I kept on watching it, and I feel like I'm understanding the show a little better now.
Well, I think the part that I didn't get was saying Sabrina was like a Jedi. I know you brought that up a few times, but I wasn't making the connection, I guess. And you talked about midichlorians and stuff. Because
she's the daughter of the high priest and the mortal, they say. Like witches are immortal or something. So I was like, so is she a witch because it's a genetic trait to be a witch? So that's why I was bringing in the Jedi idea, because in the first in chapters 1, 2, and 3 of Star Wars, George Lucas decided to write in that midichlorians are these little things in people's blood that give them access to the Force, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure some Star Wars guy is yelling at the podcast right now saying, that's not how it works.
Well, in their cells, I guess. Yeah.
Right, in their cells or whatever. And so this seems like, that's what they were hinting at, that witches are just different genetically from humans. And I kind of don't like that idea, because I like the idea of someone actually having to work to get those powers, like read lots of old books, make spells, try to harness the forces of, the magic, the forces of magic and stuff like that.
Well,
but just being a normal person.
There is that too. I mean, it's not really super clear, but I don't think that the first witches were born that way.
Right. So
maybe they have some demonic lineage in them.
I guess they do talk about the dark baptism and how that kind of seals their contract with the Dark Lord.
Yeah.
And it's funny how this show brings the euphemism of the Dark Lord, right? It's like it's the devil. It's the devil.
Yeah.
It's like,
but
I know this
probably
is
a derogatory term for the devil that they wouldn't want to use.
Right. I think in these upcoming 5 and 6 episodes, they do talk a lot about the fake church and the fake God and blah, blah, blah. So they're making the cleavage distinction between, the dark church and the fake church, which is the one, Sabrina talks about the Catholic Church, and her aunts go, oh, don't talk to me about that fake church. And so, interesting. It's just, I'm still trying to come to grips with the idea behind this. It's very comic booky, and in that sense, I think they do a great job in creating a universe that would seem like out of an Archie comic book, I guess. So I do understand the show a little bit better, and I know it's geared more for younger audiences, right? I mean, I'm not saying that depreciatively. I'm saying that maybe I expected something a little more sophisticated, but definitely the production value in this show is amazing, and they got a great cast of people, and I'm actually pretty impressed with how the story is going to move forward in these 2 episodes that we're going to talk about, which is, one of them is kind of like a Monster of the Week kind of episode, and then the other moves the story forward a little bit more. It's about demonic possession.
Yeah. And that's the Monster of the Week one. You're talking about the dreams in a witch house. So yes. I think those kind of episodes do sometimes frustrate me in TV shows where it's just, and I guess we'll get into that a little bit when we start it up, but where it's just where the main storyline seems to kind of go on pause.
Mm-hmm.
like in sitcoms where everybody will go, "Hey, let's sit around and look at a photo album and remember when this happened," and then they show clips from from older shows.
Yes.
But
that's usually saving the production a lot of money.
Yeah. But I think in this case, it's not like that. But it does sort of move the story forward because it reveals more about the characters.
You're right. It does. Involved. Yeah, there are some things in there that do push it forward a little bit. There's some details revealed. But the story does take a nap, literally, because this is about a sleep demon.
Right. Yeah, and I guess with that being said, we should probably get it started.
Yeah, that's as usual. Just open up the Netflix page. Bring it up to the Netflix logo, pause it, and then if you want to watch it at the same time that we do, just we'll do the countdown, and you can unpause it when we go 3. So I'll let you do the honors.
Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1, unpause. There we go. I got the Netflix logo there. And I turned on the subtitles, so hopefully they'll be back again.
And I want to say a special hi to one of our friends, Ed Martinez, and let you know that since you have lost your sight, unfortunately, we've been talking about making episodes more accessible and use episodes more accessible to people who can't read. And I was very surprised to learn that Netflix does have audio description in English for the visually impaired. So there is a track in this Netflix episode. I'm guessing a lot of their shows have this, where it actually describes to you what's going on the screen. So when the Netflix logo comes up, it says something like red letters show up from the background and spell the word Netflix and then disappear. And it's a fascinating thing. I'm really happy that exists. Yeah.
So that's and for anybody that's visually impaired, listening to this, that would be a good way to go. And then you can kind of play us out of the phone or something like that if you want to listen, to them together.
You can use our app. Yeah. It's still there.
Right. There we go.
I love this introduction. It's so cool.
Yeah.
I just think that when they show her here, they show her with straight hair and a hairband. It's kind of different from the look that she has on the show. And I wonder how much of that changed during the decisions to make more.
So maybe that was more of the comic book image of her.
Yeah, probably. Because she has bangs in this intro and she doesn't really have bangs in the actual show.
I saw there's a new Netflix movie. It's called like Silence, or I forget what it is, but it's got like these bat creatures that descend down on people if they hear them. So it's sort of a post-apocalyptic, like Get Out kind of not a Get Out, like what is that one with the guy from The Office where everybody has to be quiet?
I'm sorry, what? The guy from The Office?
Yeah, John Krasinski. He did that movie where everybody has to be quiet.
Yes. Yeah. I forgot. It's A Quiet Place, I think.
Mm-hmm. So there's a new Netflix movie that's kind of along that vein, and it has the actress from Sabrina. It has the person who plays Sabrina in it.
Oh, cool.
I saw it. I saw the banner for it, as I was going through Netflix the other day.
Right. Seems to be a trend now. Come up with a weird premise and then just make a movie around it, like Bird Box, where you can't see anything. You have to blind yourself, put a blindfold on your eyes. And A Quiet Place is you can't speak because the monsters will come and kill you.
Yeah.
Whoops. I just want to bring up the detail that they're in bed with full makeup on, which is never happens.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, this part. It's like they're talking about the Acheron configuration, and all I can think about is the Lament configuration. Yeah. Right? I mean, I think this is totally like a reference to Hellraiser. I think
so, too. I think this show probably has a lot of references that we maybe, or that maybe we're not catching. Even non-Clive, a lot of horror references in general.
Right. I mean, to be fair, there's been from the genie and the magic lamp. I mean, there's been creatures stuck inside puzzles, I would say. Oh, look, he's about to jerk off.
Oh, was he?
I can't believe it. I think so. He had like a beefcake book called The Masculine Shape, and he was like
Oh.
undoing his like pants. I
Oh,
was like,
okay.
really? He's wearing a shirt. He's wearing an undershirt right now. He
Yeah.
usually doesn't.
Oh, yeah. Right. So he puts on more clothes when he goes to bed.
I guess so. Yeah.
So
And he walks around with the same bathrobe all the time.
this is an interesting part for anybody that's already seen this episode. It makes you wonder, at what point did they fall asleep? Right? Are they
Yes.
are they asleep right now during this part?
This part of the soundtrack reminds me of Lord of Illusions.
Oh, yeah.
I love this demon design. It's so cool. It's a great makeup.
Batty Bat.
Yeah, the name is terrible though. Betty Bat. Betty.
The demons have a sort of a Buffy the Vampire Slayer look to them, don't they?
A little bit, yeah. Even though they overdid the whole vampire brow makeup on that show, they always look the same kind of brow. Yeah. Yeah, but that looks like I could see that scavenging around in the shores of hell.
Oh, yeah. There was a little puka shell in her hair.
Yeah, yeah. I guess they go to the same hairdresser as Captain Jack Sparrow. I think you're right. I think they might already be sleeping. Because this scene, she's going to be like, okay, I'm going to fix this, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to put her inside this urn. But it's like, nothing, this didn't really happen.
Yeah.
So this is a dream.
Yeah. So Batty Bat's sort of tricking them into thinking, oh, yeah, they already got the best of her, but they haven't.
Right, right.
So this is an interesting episode, like we were talking about before. This is it all mostly takes place in the nightmares of these central characters.
Running around like headless chickens. You know, this is the time where I'm going to bring up that I did see a headless chicken run around when I was a kid.
Oh.
It's not a fun experience, really, because my grandfather had a farm. So I don't know if you ever had the displeasure of witnessing something like that. But
no.
Chickens have something called the cerebral cortex, like a stem, where if you cut the chicken's head too close to the neck, where the neck starts, they may still have a little bit of that stem left, and that might still get them to run around a little bit. And there was a carnival chicken back in like the 50s or 40s that was a headless chicken, and it toured extensively in the U.S. until it finally died, choking on its own mucus. It's I'll try to find the Wikipedia page for that.
How could
there
that
is
chicken eat anything?
They had to like mush everything up and stick it down the gullet. Yeah, it was weird. They had to keep cleaning the mucus out of the neck all the time and all that. It's just horrible, horrible.
Okay.
It's a horrible, horrible story.
I don't think I would pay to see that chicken.
Yeah, me neither.
I think just hearing about it is enough. I'm good already.
Yeah. There's a picture in black and white and everything.
Yeah.
I like Aunt Hilda. I think she's the most likable character in this whole show.
I do too. Well, her and Sabrina. Sabrina's interesting because she's always struggling, always fighting to. Yeah,
Sabrina's very assertive. That's her defining quality, I would say.
And this episode is interesting because it's going to break down everybody's internal struggles and, kind of put them out there in the dreams. And Sabrina's even going to get to walk into each person's nightmares, so she'll learn more about the things that are bothering them. Yeah,
there's like a Nightmare on Elm Street vibe to this episode.
There sure is, yeah.
Yeah,
she's totally like Freddy Krueger. She puts those weird things on the
metronomes.
Yeah, right, and but whenever she sees one of these people, in their bed with those things, she doesn't. I would kick it off of there.
Oh, you see the symbols on that metronome? They look like the symbols from the lament configuration.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there was one of those that looks like a backwards 3 and then like a weird squiggly number 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, so she's the mother of demons?
Yeah. Yeah, she's Lilith.
Oh, okay. Hey, cool picture of David Bowie on the wall there.
Oh.
Lilith says later in the episode that she put a scrying spell on all the mirrors in the house so she could spy on Sabrina to keep her safe.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah.
But really, she ate the teacher in the first episode, right?
Yeah.
This reminds me of that demon vampire. You remember a movie that had the kid that was in Terminator 2? I forgot his name.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know the movie I'm talking about? It's a computer game or whatever, and they have to do stuff inside the game, like kill people, and then it turns out that he's actually killing people in real life.
No, I don't know that one.
Oh, okay. I'll see if I can.
That was a vampire movie?
Yeah, it's more like a weird game that has a demon trapped inside it.
Oh. That sounds totally like a 90s movie.
Yeah, these girls don't go to the same school she does.
No. Yeah, but it's interesting because it's got sort of the dream logic, that.
Yeah. Actually, Batty Bat, I looked it up, and it is a name for like a demon.
Oh, really?
Yes, I looked it up on Wikipedia, which I'm not sure is a super reliable thing, but Batty Bat is a vengeful demon found in Ilocano folklore. In Tagalog folklore, the creature is called Bangungot.
Oh.
These demons were the cause of the fatal nocturnal disease called Bangungot. A Batty Bat takes the form of a huge old fat woman that resides in trees.
Okay.
They kind of took some artistic liberties with this one, I think.
So Tagalog is Filipino, right?
I think so. Yes, in the Philippines. That's right. Yeah. And Ilocano folklore are also the third largest Filipino ethno-linguistic group. So from the Ilocos region in the northwestern seaboard of Luzon, Philippines. Right. That's going really deep there. But the Batty Bat takes the form of that woman that resides in a tree, and they come in contact with humans when the tree in which they reside is felled and made into the support post for a house. This causes them to migrate into holes found in the post, and then they forbid humans from sleeping. Oh. When a person does sleep near the post, the Batty Bat transforms to its true form and attacks the person, sits on the chest of the victim until it suffocates. I guess that's why they made it fat.
Oh, okay.
So to ward off the Batty Bat, it's really complicated, people. All you got to do is bite one's thumb or wiggle one's toes. And this way, the person will awaken from the nightmare induced by the Batty Bat.
Okay. This is interesting, this proposal that she gets from Harvey. It's kind of... She's got her part of this episode. Her nightmare is all about her struggling to sort of marry her two halves, her mortal and her witch half, and Harvey is her wanting to have her normal human life, and then Nicholas Scratch is the witch side.
Yeah, this whole thing where he kneels down and proposes to her is.
Oh yeah, no, it's totally silly. It's only something that would happen in a dream.
Right. Even the lighting became red when he did that, and that completely changed.
Yeah, so there's time skipping, right? So they went from he proposed, and now she's already wearing the wedding dress.
Yeah. And and she already told him that she was a witch once, but she took the memory away.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. And this is the attic in Sabrina's house where Ambrose lives, I think.
Oh, yeah, right. Or it's, why would they be in Ambrose's apartment? That's strange, isn't it? Unless it's just the same set redressed for something else.
I guess it's because the house is sealed and the demon can't really... But she did dream about the high school, so...
Yeah.
Maybe they're making the wedding in the house.
I think, yeah, it's true. I think when we get to the wedding, it will be in their little chapel that they have for the, for the funerals.
Nicholas and his staff.
It's
For
a
some
broom.
reason.
I think he says they're gonna fly away together.
Oh, right. So there's theories about this guy being like called Nick because he's the devil, because he's like the Dark Lord.
Oh.
But it's like, I don't know. Maybe it's like this show leaves you a lot on a need to know basis. They set up these things, and you know,
That's really interesting if that were true. But then at the same time, like the Dark Lord, when he's actually talked to her in person, and he's a jerk. You know, he's like, he has no interest in trying to be deceitful or, you know, or trying to win her over. He just is just, you know, you can't beat me. I am the Dark Lord.
Did you see the giant bunny sitting on the side of?
Yeah.
That is a cool robe that the high priest is wearing. But that's supposed to be her dad taking her up the aisle.
And her mom is on the other side of the aisle.
Right. That is a very impressive costume.
Yeah.
And again, they go and they use that kind of blurry vignette around the edges of the image. And it's not just to indicate that it's a dream, because they do that also in other scenes throughout the series. And it's like something that I've brought it up before. And it's, I don't know. It's just, I find that weird, that out of focus vignette. Is he carrying a mace?
Yeah, I know. It's like, what? That's not a mining tool.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. So the dreams start out nice and then they turn on them.
Kill the witch.
Yeah, this is horrifying.
And they bring out the Iron Maiden.
Yeah. Excellent.
Do you ever have the nightmare that somehow you have to go back to high school to do a few extra like classes that somehow you missed the first time?
Yes.
Like everybody does that I've asked this about. And it's like, what is that about?
It's weird, isn't it? I think it's some sort of a generalized anxiety. And for me, it's like, I can't remember I don't know where any classrooms are. And then I have to go to the office and get the schedule again. And then by the time I get in the classroom, it's over.
Yeah, or sometimes you find other friends there as well. They're like, oh, you had to come back to take this class too? And they're like, yeah, what are you doing? I'm working at a corporation. Me too. It's like, why do we have to come back to school? And that's usually when you wake up.
Yeah. So B-A-T-I-B-A-T, it says in the subtitles.
Yeah, Batty Bat.
I think I spelled it in our notes, B-A-T-T-Y hyphen B-A-T-T, but I don't know.
And this one is the actress playing Batty Bat here is Megan Leach.
Oh.
She's a Canadian actress, and she played Samantha Mulder on The X-Files.
Oh. Was that like a daughter?
Yeah, I think so. Let's see. Samantha Mulder in The X-Files is the sister of Fox Mulder.
Okay.
The sister that disappeared, was abducted by aliens or whatever. Yeah.
His dream is the hardest to understand. It's really weird that he keeps on dying and having to and starts cutting into his own corpse. I guess it's just the feeling of being stuck there in the house. And unable to get out or to die, or he's sort of in this time loop.
That kind of happens in the Books of Blood story, Confessions of a Pornographer's Shroud, where the guy dies and then he's still trapped inside his body, and eventually he finds himself transferring his soul into the shroud that's covering the body, right? And then he becomes a classic ghost, which is the shroud gets animated and he turns it into his own face out of the fabric.
Right, and it goes around strangling people and stuff.
Yeah. So originally, the story I think goes that Batty Bat tormented Edward Spellman, Sabrina's dad, for a number of years, and he suffered from insomnia, and then he eventually entrapped her in the Acheron configuration and left her there for 70 years.
And figured no one would be able to solve the puzzle.
Yeah, that's why she complains that she wants revenge on the Spellman family.
Yeah.
I think the part of her that's more disgusting is not just like the dried drool on her lips, but it's like those weird herpes like bubbles on her forehead.
Oh.
Ugh. It looks just sick and corrupted.
And it seems like her entrance is signaled by that music playing.
Mm-hmm. She is pretty sexy, Lilith.
Yeah.
Especially when she has those like low-cut dresses. It's I don't know. It's her hair and her makeup. It's like she's not a conventionally, she's not young.
Yeah.
She's not a conventionally fresh-faced beauty, but she has this, I don't know, kind of school teacher look. I guess that's what they were going for.
Yeah. This is interesting that the every single one of these dreams is about promising something, the thing that these people want the most, and then taking it away.
Right. And for example, the thing I was talking about, that need to know basis, is we hear that Ambrose is on house arrest, but so far nobody has ever mentioned why he's in there, right? Have they? Because
he said to, when he went on that date, when he was astral projecting himself on the date, he told him that he tried to blow up the Vatican.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you mentioned that. Yeah, I've asked this before, and you said that. I love you too, but I'm getting out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty conventional as far as nightmares go.
Yeah.
And I still think that the guy he was dating is probably the witch hunter.
How many episodes have you seen so far?
Well, I've seen 6.
Oh, okay.
I've actually just been watching them before we do the
gotcha.
commentary track.
I watched the whole first season. I haven't watched the second season yet because I don't want to get all confused since we're going through this.
Yeah. I've seen it pop up on Netflix some weeks ago.
After we get done with this, I'll watch the second season.
Yeah, that's a really good makeup.
It is. Yeah, and her lips even move.
Yeah, her brows move too, and you see the wrinkles on her forehead. It works great.
Yeah.
Damn, that's a pretty gory. Yeah.
Yeah, this is really a good, like, kind of a Nightmare on Elm Street type of a feel to it.
1, 2, Betty's coming for you.
Yeah.
Doesn't roll off the tongue as well.
No. And this one, her dream is strange. That Principal Hawthorne would be interested in her, and she's so excited about it. It's like, where did that come from? Had she? We don't even know. Has she ever met him before?
Yeah, probably. I mean, they do tend to be. That's one of the things I brought up in one of my previous commentaries. That you have to stay away from the world of mortals. But they have a mortuary, and they go to PTA meetings for Sabrina and all that stuff.
Probably only Hilda does that stuff.
Yeah, probably. That's why she knows him, I guess.
Yeah, she just said here her Zelda couldn't care less about the
right,
about her formal education. I think she said her more traditional education or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's got a big picture of himself in his office. I never noticed that before.
It reminds me of Nightbreed, where the sheriff at Sheerneck.
Yeah,
Igerman. Yep.
Right. And Decker's looking at it. Don't be ridiculous.
Yeah. And Lilith hams it up so much.
Yeah.
It's funny. I like the colorful lighting in the different scenes in here. It's very almost like Suspiria, right? You got the red lighting, the blue lighting, the green lighting, the yellow lighting, all these colored gels. They really set the tone for the scene.
Yeah. Like how the Matrix did the green lighting whenever anyone was in the Matrix.
Right. Yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course her sister here is just part of the nightmare, so she's...
Yeah. That's not really her.
She's eating bonbons.
Yeah.
So I think that the idea of sleep demons probably came originally from, sleep paralysis and folklore.
Yeah.
That's probably what got people started with the idea that... I found an abstract, actually, from a journal. And it was published by Anne Cox about sleep paralysis and folklore. I just want to bring up a little bit of the abstract where it says, sleep paralysis is a relatively new term to describe what for hundreds of years many believed to be a visitation by a malevolent creature which attacked its victims as they slept. The first clinical description of sleep paralysis was published in 1664 in a Dutch physician's case histories, where he talked about the incubus or the night-mare. Yeah.
Which is, I'm sure, where that word came from.
Yeah. And they said that the nightmare or succubi are descended from Lilith, which I guess kind of connects to the mother of demons in this episode, which she does interfere with Batty Bat.
Yeah.
It says the earliest reference to Lilith is found in the Sumerian king list of 2400 BC, known as Lilitu, or she-demon. She bore children from her nocturnal unions with men. So she gave birth to succubi and nightmares.
And then was she incorporated into Hebrew?
I think so. Yeah. In other cults, she was Adam's first wife.
Right.
Yeah. It says here that Lilith became Adam's first wife, who rather than obey became a demon that preyed on women during childbirth. In modern Middle Eastern maternity wards, some women still wear amulets for protection against Lilith. Huh.
Wow.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I haven't been this drunk since Queen Victoria's coronation.
You're showing your age there, Hilda.
Yeah, and she said she was a virgin in the dream. It's like she's been a virgin for over 100 years.
He's pushing her up the stairs, but he's grabbing her butt.
Yeah.
And that's how the date's going to end.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of digging into her own feelings about her sister.
He should open up his jacket and have like a
you didn't watch this one already?
Yeah. I did. I just stepped away from it for a minute because I was preparing breakfast.
Oh, okay.
It's like, Quaid, start the reactor.
Yeah, he does have that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I remember seeing it a little bit. Yeah. Meet Quato.
Yeah.
He's got a little baby arm.
Oh.
Have you ever seen Basket Case?
Yeah.
Isn't that awesome?
I thought the first one was okay. I stayed up until 5 a.m. watching a marathon of all of them on cable at my dad's house one time, and
Really?
it's they just got progressively more and more horrible as they went along.
Yeah.
Like most horror series.
They became the twin Cenobites.
Yeah.
Like when she slaps Zelda to shut her up and then leaves that spell on her.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah.
I love the house, though, the set or whatever they have. It's such a great looking house.
It's interesting that Zelda's perfect world is being an expert on Satanism and being the teacher and the one who can impress who can impress the headmaster the most.
Yeah. She's the total institutional, darling.
Yeah.
She wants to be part of the dark church.
And she really resents her sister, who doesn't seem to care about it and was kind of forced into it.
Yeah, but they pretty much stay in that house all the time. And Zelda could do whatever she wanted. I mean, I don't understand why she limits herself to being there.
Yeah.
Well, she does have a really close rapport with the high priest.
Yeah. Yeah, and that'll get developed more over this season.
How many times do you think they have to practice that speech so they can all say that at the same time?
It's funny that they come in through 3 different doors.
Yeah. It's like, screw these kids.
Yeah.
Let's get ready for our big ceremony.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So she sort of conflates the Dark Lord with what's his face, the headmaster guy.
Blackwood.
Yeah, with Blackwood. Yeah. So she puts them. So the person that we see is like Blackwood, but he's got horns and hooves.
Oh my God.
Yeah, she's
gonna cook the kid.
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Hey, at least he could have shaved the hair off of the kid's head. Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Little piggy. This little piggy went to the witch's house. Yeah. Oh, that's the Dark Lord and conflated with Blackwood.
Yeah.
And it's so hammy.
Yeah.
Hi, I just stopped by Hot Topic and got this nice jacket.
And this is totally the Cain and Abel story, right? Because Cain and Abel were trying to impress God with sacrifices, and one of them had vegetables and the other one had meat.
Oh yeah, it's been a while since I've read that on the Bible.
And I think it was the opposite with Cain and Abel, right? It was the vegetables didn't cut it; it was the meat that was what God wanted, and then or the animal sacrifice, and then that's what caused Cain to be jealous of Abel.
Yeah,
and killed him. Which
she's been spurned in exchange for Hilda's vegetable pie.
Yeah. I will be dining on Hilda's vegetable pie.
I expected the tray to be a little bigger, unless they just cook the head and
there's like a head and Guess it's just dream logic. I think that it would look a lot more horrible than that.
Oh yes. And there were different kind of sleep demons. There's something also called the night hag. which is also on Wikipedia. Again, comes from folklore from Asia, East Asia, Southeast Asia, South Asia, Central Asia. That's what it says here. So it seems like people that had sleep paralysis would always think that it was some sort of female demon that would take control of them. That's why, she has, when she was teaching the kids, she had that picture of a Sabbath over the fireplace.
Oh, yeah.
That's, I think, a Goya painting about the Sabbath.
Oh, cool.
And Goya also painted that picture of a woman having a nightmare. And usually there's like this kind of little demon standing on top of her chest. And then there's like a ghostly horse sticking his head in, Yeah. And that's the nightmare, because it was considered that there was a kind of a weird horse that would show up. In Scandinavian folklore, sleep paralysis is caused by a mare, which is an actual female horse. Yep.
So she started to drag her to the Lazarus pit, but it seemed like she never quite made it there in this dream.
Yeah. Well, she did warn her the last time she killed her that it was taking longer and longer for her to come back, and that eventually she wouldn't come back at all.
Yeah.
I wonder if witches have like 9 lives like cats.
Yeah.
I like the lighting here, this kind of pinkish lighting coming through the windows. Yeah, it's a little game we play called I'm going to bash your head in with a shovel.
Yeah, that's the way she always kills her, too.
And she's actually sad that this happens.
Yeah.
So in that regard, it seems like she's both resentful and in kind of a bonded relationship with her sister.
Yeah. She feels a lot of guilt about the way she treats her, but she feels like she has to put the Church of Night and Satanism above everything else. She'd worked so hard, like in the last episode we did, that it turned out that she had been responsible for hazing Hilda.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, wanting to impress her fellow classmates, was more important to her than her own sister.
Hey, I'm here to deliver some exposition.
Yeah. But I mean, it would be hard to understand that you're in a dream without somebody explaining it to you, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's usual that, like I was saying at one time, that once you realize you're dreaming, that's usually when you wake up.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's because you're already waking up.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that usually happens with me. As soon as I realize I'm dreaming, that's shortly after that you wake up.
Yeah.
Yep. I particularly think it's funny that the Batty Bat uses demonic metronomes to send people to sleep.
Yeah. I guess maybe she thinks the writers of this think that a metronome is like piano practice is boring.
Ooh, levitation. Is that a Clive Barker painting on that background there?
Oh, I missed it. We had one job.
One job. That's the whole point of this.
Yeah.
Right. So in that Asian folklore, you had to either bite your thumb or wiggle your toes to wake up from the demon. Yeah. And here they have her prick her finger.
Yeah. There was like a stuffed dog sitting on the ground there.
I think it's a fox.
That's weird.
Oh, that's the Acheron configuration on the floor next to her.
Yeah.
It's a pretty cool puzzle.
Yeah.
In terms of, visuals. But it doesn't beat the Lament configuration at all.
Yeah. The Lament configuration's a lot more subtle. This thing has a bunch of little things you can grab onto. And
Yeah. And then, of course, there's the one from Hellraiser 8, the Lamont configuration. They kept calling it the Lamont configuration. I'm like, oh, God.
Nobody wanted to correct Lance Henriksen.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, he's a great actor. We'll just let him say it that way.
Yeah, it was made by this guy called Lamont.
The Lamont configuration was from the store Lamont's.
Hey, so on Twitter recently, I think that Scott Derrickson, who directed Hellraiser 5 Inferno, didn't he tweet something? Oh, I love the little kitty cat. He posted like this page. I think it's from the Books of the Damned that you saw.
Yeah, and it started a chain of blog posts about, is he returning to Hellraiser? Is Scott Derrickson teasing a Hellraiser sequel?
Yeah, he posted this funny cartoonish commercial for, as if the Lament configuration was a toy. And it's like, hey kids, it's the Lament configuration, and there's a guy with pins in his face.
Yeah. But it looked like something in the back of a comic book or Boy's Life or something like that.
Right. I hope not, because I didn't really like Inferno that much.
No. Yeah, and it seemed like he was just more doing a, hey, remember that time I did a Hellraiser movie kind of a thing. I mean, Scott Derrickson he's in Marvel movies now. I mean, I don't know that he would go back to Hellraiser.
Yeah, and he did do a movie about demonic possession, which is going to be the theme of the 6th episode.
Right.
Of the Exorcism of Emily Rose, which is actually based on a real-life case of this girl who died.
Yeah, I didn't like that movie.
Oh, Salem. I love Salem. I got a black cat myself.
Yeah.
I call her Lucifer. You know what's strange? This is her familiar, but you're going to see a line in either in this episode or the next where Ambrose is actually understanding what the cat is saying.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so do you understand what your familiar tells you, or you don't?
Yeah, it's weird. In this episode, it's kind of, he's kind of like R2-D2. I mean, I think that he just makes cat noises, but everybody in the house understands him.
Yeah. Or like Stewie in Family Guy.
Or Chewbacca.
The dog, the dog is the only one that understands him. And this is the time where I bring up the Star Wars Holiday Special, where there's like a 20-minute segment of nothing but Wookiees yelling at each other.
I haven't seen that since it was on TV.
Yeah.
I saw that one and the Ewok movies when they were on TV.
Oh, I remember watching one of those Ewok movies, Caravan of Courage or something like that. I don't think they're canon.
Yeah. Well, I think George Lucas is really embarrassed by them.
Yeah. I don't think they ever came out in Blu-ray or anything.
No, I think they're only like bootleg and YouTube and stuff, right?
Wait, what happened? Like she went.
So the cat was pretending to be her.
Gotcha.
Yeah, she put a glamour on the cat, and then she was under the. You'd think that she'd have a better hiding place than right there, but she doesn't even put the cover back over her face. And she's got 2 minutes.
There was another sleep demon that caused nightmares from Germany. This time it was called the Alp.
Oh.
So, it's a little demon called the Alp. It's called either a Trud or an Alp.
Oh.
you can repel an Alp with an horse head, which I guess that's what the Godfather was trying to do.
Oh God, I was just thinking about that.
Stick a horse head on your bed, and you're not going to get
Oh.
any nightmares.
Yeah, he'll make you an offer you can't refuse.
Yeah. Says when a nurse diapers a child, she must make the sign of the cross and open up a corner. Otherwise, the Alp will re-diaper the child. What?
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Hilda's the only one that can help, right? Or no, Ambrose helps too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just Zelda is the only one that couldn't help.
Wake up, Hilda. Well, her sister can't help.
Yeah.
Oh, please.
What? That the spiders can help?
Yeah. They're gonna weave a dream catcher.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is he doing with that thing?
Yeah, I don't know. He just sort of cuts himself apart with no real
Yeah.
purpose.
Yep. Oh, it's a kitchen timer.
Is that like a shoe closet? It's enormous. Or it's just a hallway with a bunch of shelves with shoes on them.
It's weird. I think it's part of the dream world. I think it's just supposed to be weird.
Oh no, that's real.
Oh,
Right? 'Cause
okay.
she's chasing
It's the house. She's
Yeah.
chasing the cat. Well, why did you have to say that out loud? Yes, she did put a glamour on the cat. We saw her do it. This is the part where like it's just exposition, like that's not necessary.
Oh, that he said if you come I'll tell you how to get out if you get me out of this nightmare.
No, I mentioned when she says, "Oh, she put a glamour on the cat," and it's
Oh,
like,
I
"Yeah,
see.
we saw her do it." Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Wait, is it Sumerian or Ostrogoth? Not the same.
Yeah. He said it was
Oh, they're-
complicated, so I think it's a mix
Right.
of
They're confusing her. Yeah.
yeah.
So the demon was dreaming too.
The demon was going into Ambrose's dream. And now she's back in the real world.
I love the finger extension done with
Yeah.
the makeup.
Yeah.
For some reason, that really makes it creepier,
Yeah.
right? When someone has like long fingers.
Yeah. Like Freddy.
Oh yeah, the knives. Yeah, good point.
I like the look of that when she's casting the spell to make the spiders shoot the webs and she's doing the little yarn. That's kind of a cool.
Yep. So it's funny that they seem to have gotten that name Batty Batch from an actual demon.
Yeah.
So I guess they do make some, homework.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, those spiders are spitting out a lot more web than
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah. They're magic.
And that's like a cat's cradle she's doing.
Yeah.
Oh. Cool. Someone went crazy with a glue gun.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, did you see those symbols on the metronome? I guess
No.
it's just for a second, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they were asleep at the beginning of the episode. So why do you need the Acheron configuration? I guess it's just cool.
Yeah, maybe because no one would be able to solve it to get her out. Right? It's easy to solve a jam jar.
Yeah. But sometimes it's hard to open a jam jar. I just want to see Hilda open it up and just take a spoonful of it and put it on her tea and be like, oh, anybody want some sugar? Oh, shit.
Or you just drop it on the floor.
Yeah. Or a cat pushes it off the table onto the floor. I mean, we both have cats. You know how cats are.
Yeah.
Am I crazy, or did you say you were getting a new cat?
Yeah, we did. We have a cat named Indy.
Oh, that's great. What sort of cat is he? Like a tabby?
Yeah. He's kind of got the brown with the black stripes.
Some of our listeners may have been familiar with Bosco.
Yeah.
He was in one of our Kickstarter episodes at one point. It was a really cute cat.
But Indy likes to, when we get up in the morning, he likes to run up and down the hallway as fast as he can.
Yeah.
So we call that the Indy 500.
That's great. Does he ever go outside in the snow, or is he just strictly indoor?
He tried it once. He is more of an indoor cat.
Yeah.
He stuck his paw in the snow.
Yeah, and then he just shook it and went back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Her boyfriend seems to have a lot of posters about magic, like magicians and stuff.
Right.
Even that one of them, I think, is a cover. It's an old poster called Carter versus the Demon. So yeah, I think it's behind his door.
And he's got a painting of sailboats, like on The Simpsons.
Yeah.
But
that's right.
That sort of points to the idea that maybe he would give her a chance if she would let him, or that maybe mortals are more fascinated with the dark side and with magic and stuff, but when they actually see it, then they can't handle it.
Mm-hmm.
So this is an interesting part. I kind of was wondering, maybe at this point she's gonna finally come clean and tell the truth, but she tells something that's a little bit closer to the truth, but not really.
Yeah, it's back to keeping the mystery so you can keep watching the show. It's like sometimes it gets really clunky exposition, but other times they just won't explain what's going on, and you have to keep watching.
Yeah. A lot of these episodes, not everyone, but a lot of the episodes end in cliffhangers.
And click the button to watch credits, otherwise it's going to move to the next episode right away.
I was able to catch it in time. They only give you 3 seconds to do that.
Yeah.
I guess, I mean, that must show what people really want, is to not have to watch credits.
Right. And you can also skip the intro, which was kind of a useful thing. I mean, depending on the show that you're watching, of course, some like to put in gags in the starting credits, like The Simpsons or Family Guy or An American Dad or those sort of shows. Put little gags on the opening, so or Bob's Burgers, they do the same. So.
I used to record The Simpsons, and since the very first episode, I recorded them all on videotapes. Mm-hmm. And when they got into syndication, they started cutting off the intros with the chalkboard and stuff. They had this truncated version so they could fit more commercials.
Right.
And that kind of sucked. So I always would feel like, okay, no, I need to get the real version, and then it was hard. And then until they all started coming out on DVD, and I guess now you can
or
watch
like
them
Japanese, or like Japanese shows like animation that gets different edited introductions from like French, distribution or something. We used to get that for Dragon Ball and stuff like that. We would never get the one that has the opening song. We'd just get the one with like some, recut opening credits and stuff. So, all right. So this is for episode 6, and we're going to do the countdown. I have it all rolled up to the Netflix logo, and it starts in 3, 2, 1, play. There we go. Do you want to skip the intro, or should we let it play?
Okay. No, I've got the intro going.
Okay.
Directed by Rachel Talalay. Maybe paused. That's weird. Now it's back to the Netflix logo again. Dang nabbit. Okay, now I see Warner Brothers.
Okay. I'm going to... Do you want to skip the intro? Because we're probably now out of sync.
Okay.
I'm seeing Jazz Sinclair and Tati Gabrielle and Adeline Rudolph. Let me know when you see the name of Adeline Rudolph.
Oh, you're past the intro already?
No, I'm still in the credits.
Oh. Okay. John Goldwater, executive producer.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah Schechter.
I'm at the part where you see the 3 evil girls from the school.
Oh, okay. I skipped ahead a little bit to try to catch up. So I see the skull holding the baby, and now the Archie girl.
Yeah.
And now the title screen.
Mm-hmm.
Is that where you're at?
Not really.
Okay, I can pause it there.
Okay.
Okay, this is messed up.
Yeah, we got out of sync.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the Netflix controls. They really push you to skip things. And
I'll tell you what. Let me know when the episode is actually starting.
Okay. Oops. What messed me up before was hitting the Siri microphone button instead of the unpause.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then I trying to get out of that.
I'm at the director credit. And
yeah,
it's
me too. Directed by Rachel Talalay. And then it just turned to black, and now we see...
Okay.
Yep.
And so her teacher has the most unsexy sleeping garment ever.
Yeah, right. Compared to what she was wearing when she was in the dream.
Yeah.
She wants to try to put on the, oh no, I'm just the teacher.
Yeah, just a school mom. I like the little tinted glass window in the corner there. Reminds me of the window on the door of Ludovico Street 55.
Yeah.
In Hellraiser.
I just watched Hellbound a couple of days ago. I was sick, so I stayed home and...
Oh, how did you like it?
Yeah, I watched the one from the Arrow box set.
Yeah, it's got lots of grain.
Yeah, it did have a lot of grain, which I guess is just kind of because it's so high fidelity that you see it more.
Yeah, it's good. And sometimes grain is good. I mean, not if it's too much, but it's part of the film stock. Yeah,
and it's nice to see. I mean, I already had it on Blu-ray, but it's nice to see the version that has Kirsty going into her old childhood house and the picture of her mom and stuff like that.
So here's Miss Vardenwell. Is that her name? Yes.
Miss...
Yes, I think so. Anyway, she's saying that she was... Oh, look at the crucifix on top of the fireplace.
It's upside down, yeah.
Yeah.
Which would be explained if she's telling Sabrina that she's a witch.
Also, the lamp behind her seems to be upside down.
Okay.
The shade.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's meant to be that way.
Is that symbolic?
I don't know.
It's like those people that hang Christmas trees upside down from the ceiling, or they make it look like it's an upside down Christmas tree.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
But she's not really a witch. She's a demon, right? She's Lilith, mother of demons. So this is all a lie.
Yeah, it's a really long, elaborate lie. Usually the best lies are the simpler ones.
Yep. So this is all part of the design of the Dark Lord. He's preparing her for something.
Yeah.
Because this whole episode's going to revolve around Jesse's uncle or whatever. And so he's possessed by a demon. So this is going to be a demonic possession episode. And there's going to be some sort of ritual they're going to perform, which was actually all part of the grand, Dark Lord's design for Sabrina. So
yeah, they said they're preparing her for something. She had to do an exorcism on a mortal. So then when she says at one point in the story, she says that this exorcism spell was written by your father, but I wonder if that's not true. Probably not. It probably was just hers, or that came from the Dark Lord.
Yeah, so it seems like her dad, did a lot of stuff that he shouldn't have done, even though this is all complete lie, fabrication. But her dad did sign her name in the Dark Lord's book and promised her as a baby, which of course is not cool. He married. We don't get a lot of information about their parents and their relationship, but seems like her dad was pretty manipulative, which makes sense since he was the high priest of the Dark Church. I love the house set and the whole set decoration they do. It looks lived in when they show the house inside it.
Yeah.
It looks really lived in.
And the deeper you get inside of the house, the weirder it is, with like vines growing on the walls and stuff.
And it's got some really gnarly trees outside too.
Yeah.
It's a great job on that. Like this one right here with like Spanish moss hanging from it.
Yeah.
So this is supposed to be Greendale, right? Which is a fictional place.
Yeah. Yeah. So this episode seems like it's trying to catch up after the last episode, kind of left these characters all behind. So all of her friends are going to have their own part in this.
See Carter the Great right there.
Yeah.
It's very stylized set decoration.
Yeah.
All these houses look like they have very moody lighting.
And 60s aesthetic or 60s decoration inside.
Yeah.
60s
kind of this
features.
Mid-century, yeah. Oh, that's right. She's going to lose her sight because she has a problem with her eyes.
Yeah.
And her friends are still just defined by one particular characteristic, all of them, that they have a problem. And in her case, she's non-binary. And the other girl, she is, a social activist, and she is really smart and bookish and wears glasses, and now she's going blind.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and this demon is preying on their fears.
Yeah, their insecurities, their fears. Mm-hmm. What the whole thing about Jesse being possessed by a demon, it just doesn't gel too much for me, though. I mean, the guy obviously is in trouble, and nobody gives him any medical attention. Who cleans him? Who feeds him? Who changes his long johns?
I think the father does, and she said before that. In an earlier episode that he's asleep all the time. Like they keep him medicated and he's just always asleep.
Yeah, but it seems like if his face is all like covered in pustules and blood, like you would take him to a hospital. Mm-hmm. Anyway, of course, this is that's the cartoony part of it. That's But it's one of those artifices of storytelling that seems like it doesn't really hold up when you think about it a little too much.
Yeah. Also, this place is a cafe and a bookstore, I guess.
It's one of those things. I think it's just there, so it's another creepy looking, awesome looking place where the kids come to talk.
Because, like, in a little bit, when she's working there, Nicholas Scratch comes to the... Was it? No, not Nicholas Scratch. The Ambrose's boyfriend guy.
Yeah.
He comes to the counter, and she's, like, making lattes, I think, right?
Yeah, yeah. So this is more of a cafe than a bookstore. So he calls it a bookstore for the weird and dispossessed.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's really more of a cafe.
At least from what we can see. I think we did see rows of comic books at one time.
And they had some cool movie posters on the side, like Todd Browning's Freaks was in the background.
Carnival of Souls, I think.
Man, she's ready to pop.
Yeah. Yeah, they said, like, witches have a 13-month gestation.
Yes, that's weird. Looks like she's just holding a basketball.
I guess it takes extra time to turn into a witch or what, a warlock or whatever.
See, they're genetically different. That's the thing that
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Why are all the walls in this location like gunky and in need of paint?
Yeah.
They're the dark church.
Yeah, this is the cleanest hospital room we could find.
Yes, right? FDA would close down that mortuary house right away. And this is also weird because this looks like it's a library, but it's an open space and people are just hanging out there chatting. And there's even food and water on the table.
Yeah. Yeah,
See, they're having a sandwich.
I wish that my school library was like that.
Yeah.
But like, we said earlier in earlier episodes, these kids never seem to have to do much in class. Their school is a place for planning stuff and talking about what's going on in their lives.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember having like 5 minutes between class, and I could hardly even get to my locker and then get to the next class without being late.
Sure, yeah. Do you have a bell that rang?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the jerks would, slam your locker closed right after you got it opened.
She's trying to gaslight her friends into thinking, no, there's no such thing as supernatural stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. This is really kind of uncharacteristic for Sabrina, and she's doing a bad job.
And as a recap, we remember that the boyfriend once got lost in the mines, and he saw like this goat-headed demon with fire. Yeah.
And which is also the same thing that happened to Uncle Jesse, which is why he ended up getting possessed by a demon.
Right. Because the mines have this one shaft that's supposed to be so deep it goes into hell.
Yeah.
Which it probably does.
Oh, man. My dad is calling.
Okay.
Sorry, Dad. I'll have to call you back.
Happy Turkey Day.
Did that ringing sound come through on the call?
Not at all. Not at all. It's like, oh, okay. That's a lot of lemon curd.
Yeah.
That actually makes me want to put some in toast.
Look how many lemons they have there.
Yeah.
Maybe she's making a pie or something. That's like, or 100 pies.
That sounds awesome. I just want to grab a spoon and go nuts. I love that stuff.
There's only 4 of them there, but she's constantly making food, and Zelda's always reading the newspaper.
And smoking.
Yeah.
With calipers or whatever, a little holder for the cigarette.
Yeah. And Zelda's like, well, I guess I'll just have to murder anyone who talks about witches. Tell me their names.
Yeah. I'll shut them down permanently.
Yeah. Well, killing my friends isn't exactly what I had in mind.
Well, to be fair, she wasn't going to kill them. She was just going to put them in a coma.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That's much better.
So why doesn't Jesse's dad is vulnerable for attacks?
That's a good question. Maybe because he was always unconscious for Jesse's dad.
Could be. But again, of course, I'm going to bring this up. I know this is cartoony and all that, but he's tied up to the 4 posts of his bed. It's like that's not how you'd keep a loved one.
Well, the kids all just did that.
Yeah, but it's like there's been several days that have gone by since that day, and he's still tied up to the bed.
That's true. So, yeah, you'd think the father would have said, "What are you doing?" And untied him.
Sometimes it just serves a story, right? It's just this thing. Well, let's put this guy in as possessed, but it's like when you think about it, it's kind of a weird thing.
Yeah, it's not hard to unravel some stuff in this.
First time I read about demonic possession, I must have been a teenager, and I think my great-grandfather had some books, and they were still in one of my aunt's houses where she lived. It was a really old house. It was built back in the 1800s. And in the attic, there's still a bunch of old books that belonged to my great-grandfather. And so a couple of those books were about the devil. So one of them was the story of Satan, and it had all these things about what the Sabbath is and witches and how they fly and caves around the world that people believed would lead into hell and all sorts of stories like that. And there would be little dialogues of famous exorcisms and stuff like that, where you'd have the priest asking the demon for his name and then, that sort of thing. So as a kid, that was fascinating to read that stuff because, of course, most of that is just nonsense, just made up stuff. But that was interesting to know. It's literally letting someone rot in your house without giving them proper care.
Yeah.
Especially if they look like that.
Well, maybe she told her father that he attacked her.
Yeah, but still, it's like that guy looks like he's breaking up and bleeding all out. Anyway.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Well, but then the father did bring somebody over to talk about what to do with him.
Yeah. They were going to take him to an asylum.
But it has been days that he's been tied up, and he should be. Yeah. Something should be done.
I don't want to know what's on that window.
Yeah, Mayor Sakai. It's funny that he fooled.
And he's going to spew acid, and nobody cares. Nobody realizes what's going on. Apparently. His rude voice, yeah. Weird. They got the details down pat though. Those are the kind of socks they use for work,
Yeah.
The ones with the red rim on the top and they're made out of wool.
His right foot looks like he could just slip it right out of there.
Yeah.
And Mayor Sakai is just ice cream backwards.
That's right. It's just an anagram. Oh, don't sit on that chair.
Yeah.
She's what now? Yeah, see, he understands the cat.
Oh, yeah. So it was this episode.
And it's her familiar, and she doesn't understand him, but everybody else does.
I thought she understood him.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, sure. I mean, she talks to him.
Yeah. Doesn't it look like he could just slide his right foot right out of there?
Yeah, absolutely. Did you see that some of the scarring on his face appeared after he opened his eyes?
Oh, no.
It was a digital effect, yeah.
She's all proud of herself for Mayor Sakai.
Yeah. Very careful, very careful color palettes for each scene. Like, he's wearing a red robe, she's wearing a red sweater. You know, you got red lights all over the room.
Yeah.
Ice cream.
Ice cream.
I feel like right now they could actually do a really cool TV show for Netflix if they did like a Doctor Strange show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Doctor Strange, actually the stories in the comic books were really slow burn kind of story. I know the movie, they try to make it into an action movie with Benedict Cumberbatch and whatever. But the comic book stories, sometimes they could be real, like slow, stories and more about other dimensions and stuff like that.
I bet you that the Netflix Marvel shows are going to come to an end, with Disney and Disney having their Disney Plus, whatever.
Yeah, I think some of those already were canceled, right?
Yeah. Which I liked all of those. And it makes me wonder, like, am I going to keep on subscribing to all of these things? I mean, that adds up. I think just Netflix and Netflix price went up, and then just Amazon Prime. Those two things are about as far as I want to go.
Right. Hey, he's got a cover of Archie's Madhouse in the over his bed there.
Oh, wow.
That's meta.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, now he's seeing not Mayor Sakai, what's his real name? Apophis. The devouring worm.
Yeah.
This is Harvey's room, right?
Yes.
So all of the pictures got switched around. He used to have a sailboat above his bed.
Yeah. I don't know if they do that for the sake of composition in the frame or whatever, but it seems like they did move some things around. He's just so bland and generic. He's just such a wholesome boyfriend. It's like,
he totally just represents her wanting to have a normal life.
Yes.
And it
seems like the mines don't have any safety at all, or any security, or get locked in anytime. It's just you just walk in the mine. That's
and the lights are all still on. Yeah, and Harvey dreams about like otherworldly things, right? He likes to draw comic book art.
Yeah, he's a dreamer. His bedroom is covered in paintings and all that, and his dad hates that. He's like, I want you to work in the mines.
You'll work an honest to God shift.
Yeah. Looks like a coal mine.
Yeah, I wonder.
Oh, how convenient.
Yeah, I kind of wish that she had like cast a spell to find this or something, because it seems like that should have taken hours or days to find
They
that.
should have. I would have made this scene a little longer, and it would just make them go down some tunnel, and he'd be like, "Hey, this isn't in the map. Oh, and, well, let's go down this tunnel." And then she would, but she can't do a spell because she's with him.
Yeah, it makes you wonder how much stuff gets cut out for pacing and time, because they have to keep these around roughly an hour. Yeah, I know. Everybody knows the tunnels and the mines go to hell. That's old news, lady.
That trapping stone looks like it's made of styrofoam.
Yeah. One time I was in Chicago for a realtor thing, and they had just finished filming, or they were filming Transformers 2 outside of my hotel. And so I got a video of these guys like taking these gigantic chunks of concrete, that were huge, like 10 times the size of their own bodies, and they just like lift them up and throw them into the truck.
So it's just paper mache or like styrofoam or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It was really funny to watch.
Yeah. So that actually was kind of a sculpture coming out of the rock, which seems like it's supernatural. And she's kind of making him like, oh, it's nothing. It's not nothing. It's an actual goat head and a hand.
Yeah. She tries really hard to steer her friends away from the supernatural, even though they all kind of discover it on their own.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I thought Apophis was what he saw in the mines. Turns out it's not. It's still there. So that's really just a demon or the Dark Lord's manifestation in the tunnel that go right into hell.
Mm-hmm. And they both, Jesse and Harvey, saw the Dark Lord in the tunnel. So Apophis must have maybe the devil just threw Apophis at him.
Right.
There you go. Go in there.
Seems like someone broke the trapping stone while they were mining, and that's what released the demon. And probably Jesse, broke the stone, maybe.
Yeah, okay. That would make sense.
Yeah.
This part, I don't get how Jesse gets, not Jesse, the daughter, what is her name? I forget.
Yeah.
Why does she get so protective and possessive of her Uncle Jesse right now? She's getting mad, and this guy, her father, just wants to help him.
Well, because he was talking about how Jesse liked to put on his mother's dresses, and then the demon says that Jesse was a sodomite. That's why he entered his body, because it was so sinful.
Oh,
it keeps
probably not true. He just was probably the nearest, most convenient person.
No, it is true. The guy was telling to the doctor that,
well, I mean, that's not true. That's probably not the reason that he went in there. He's probably just the nearest body.
Right, sure. I mean, yeah. It seems like if you have a secret, it makes you vulnerable, or if you have a shame, it makes you vulnerable to this sort of thing. Mm-hmm. But so in this case, she got angry because he was talking about, the fact that guy was not totally straight and was criticizing it, and she was like feeling like that involves her and how she feels about herself too.
Check out that wood paneling in the doctor's office.
Yeah.
Everybody's got this old she's totally like a 70s looking character.
Yeah. The dad's wearing like a plaid blazer, and But then sometimes the kids dress like they're modern,
And Harvey has a smartphone.
Right. It's just part of the whole aesthetic of it.
Of the show. Yeah, they even have old cars when there are shots outside. They have old cars. But it's nice they really don't focus on smartphones and texting and things like that.
Yeah, when it doesn't suit, like they're looking for someone instead of just calling their phone, it's like, oh, all of a sudden they don't use that. It just suits the story that way.
Right. They all catch up with each other at the library at school instead of texting or whatever.
Betty.
Yeah.
Looks like we released a demon from Thulsa Doom.
Yeah, right. Two serpents facing each other, but they are one.
Yeah. I like that she's cold enough to use a sweater, but she's wearing a sweater that has short sleeves.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got a turtleneck and short sleeves.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Well, it works. This is like the headmaster of the school teaching a class, which usually doesn't really happen.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that he took the time to draw the demon heads and all that in the blackboard.
But it seems like this is a pretty small population of kids in this school.
Yeah, that's true.
You see the same ones over and over again. Don't worry about it. It'll sort itself out really soon.
Uh-huh. And that's, I think, another Clive Barker painting back there.
Oh, yeah, right. It's
Monster
kind of
with several eyes.
It's really in the shadow there.
You got to call the brothers from Supernatural. They'll take care of it.
I only watched the first episode of that show. I didn't like it.
Oh, really? And
Yeah.
it picks up. I saw a couple of seasons. It's good. Then, of course, it became a lot of the Monster of the Week kind of thing, right? Mm. But yeah, they shoot like shotguns full of salt at demons to make them go away and stuff like that. I think most of the audience just likes them because the two brothers are handsome and they, look hot.
That's what I've heard.
There's a lot of fan fiction out there about those two brothers.
I thought at this point that Nicholas was going to help her do the exorcism. Mm-hmm. But he doesn't. He just kind of points her in a direction. And
he's just like, well, you go to two schools, you got two natures. Why not date two guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be your witch boyfriend, and then he'll be your boring, normal human boyfriend.
Yeah. What do you mean, what you are? What she told her was that she's a witch.
Yeah.
She keeps talking about her like she's a thing.
Yeah. Yeah, probably she should have said who. Miss Wardwell.
Yeah. Yeah, here's the part I was talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder if in the mythology of this show, if it's sort of a Manichaean, like the devil and God are opposing forces, and equal.
Probably. I like the wallpaper on that living room. It's a bunch of ladies' faces.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can't see now because it's blurry, but when they do show the wall, it's all these faces of ladies. They look taken out of like a 1920s like soap commercial on a magazine.
Yeah, right. Like from a speakeasy or something.
Mm-hmm. That is a lot of hair.
Yeah.
Big poofy head of hair. It seems like if you're taking your loved one to a mortuary and you come in and all they got is a bunch of like Sabbath pictures and demon pictures on the walls,
yeah,
probably not the best place to take your loved one to be properly buried.
Maybe they have a monopoly in that
Yeah.
in Greendale.
Yeah,
It's
they
like,
have to go.
It's weird, but that's the only place to go.
Yeah, through the dark woods into that creepy house. That's the mortuary. Where this guy walks around in a robe is the guy who like embalms your loved one.
Yeah. Yeah. What? Right just after the Lazarus pit, and you're there.
Yep. Turn left on the gnarly trees. Do they ever show what's in that medallion that she has around her neck? I just keep noticing that medallion.
Yeah, it's pink, isn't it?
It might be the lighting, but there's definitely something there, like a face or something.
You talking about Sabrina's or Zelda's?
Sabrina's.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if it's something of her parents.
I like that Hilda is like, well, I'm already excommunicated, so what have I got to lose?
Yeah. Good point. I love this shot because it's like the poster from The Exorcist.
Yes. Good catch. I thought the same. I feel like one of them should be wearing a hat and a suitcase.
Yeah.
And then just stop and look around and then go back inside.
Or Father Hess in the staircase.
Yep. Max von Sydow was old back then, and he looks old now.
Yeah.
He always looked old.
Yeah. The power
Even
of
in the
Christ
seventh seal.
compels you.
Yeah.
He will use the truth, mix lies with the truth to attack us. I like The Exorcist.
And when they fight a dyslexic demon, he says, "Your mother cooks socks in hell."
Yeah, right. That was Saturday Night Live, right? That did that.
Yeah. Cooking socks.
Or
But always,
sews socks, I think.
yeah. Long johns. They're just so weird looking.
Yeah.
I mean, I imagine in Alaska, long johns would be useful, though.
Most people just wear like Carhartts or something when they're out.
Yeah,
cold.
like thermal underwear, also known as Ohio lingerie. I got one of those from when I went skiing a few times, and skiing will make you sweat pretty hard, even if you're in the middle of snow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the rubbing of the muscles together. It's like it makes you warm up real fast.
I like the visit us, sisters, intercede on our behalf. I like that the spell.
Because they're supposed to harness the power of the witch doing the exorcism, and they also tap into the witches that came before. So they don't call on power from God to exorcise the demon. They call on their own, witch's power.
Yeah, which is a little bit Levian Satanism too, right? Because it's that's all about only relying on yourself.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's weird for me to understand why would witches exorcise demons. Well, they don't. But it's like, why would this work? Because they're on the same side, right?
Yeah.
They serve the Dark Lord. So why would the Dark Lord be okay with a witch exorcising a demon?
Well, people fight each other too, I guess.
I think ultimately the thing is that and that's the thing that I've accepted about this show, but I still think it's kind of weird, is that this is meant to package the idea of a witch into this neat package where it's like, oh, she's a good girl, but she also has access to these powers.
Mm-hmm.
And, she's kind of reluctant about serving the Dark Lord because it's the devil,
Yeah.
They keep mentioning these things. They smirk when they say, well, let's do this unholy thing. It's like, yeah, it's unholy because you're serving the devil.
Yeah.
But they try to make it cool, and like her aunts don't hurt anybody. They help people. But it's like the whole thing about the dark baptism is so you can serve the wishes of the Dark Lord.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen that yet. I haven't seen anything about what they do to serve the Dark Lord.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think the plot, whatever is going on between Sabrina and the Dark Lord is a really slow burn.
And also, the first thing she sees when she goes into school is the ghosts of dead children that were killed during hazing at the witches' school.
Yeah.
But then it's like, but it's done in a way that's almost like this sanitized, stylized way where it's like, yeah, well, they're little ghosts of kids. They're here. They got hazed and they died. Oh, it was really sad. But, and it's like, yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Children were murdered in that school.
Yeah.
Why would you go there?
Sabrina's here to clean up the Church of Night.
Yeah, well.
I know. Well, and it's interesting because Hilda is a super nice person, and she sees, when she looks at Sabrina, she sees somebody that she wished she could have been.
Yeah.
But she just kind of let Zelda bully her and lead her, into the life that she has.
This looks a little flat. Like most of the landscape isn't really there. It's all just CGI.
Oh, I see.
And like they have a well. I guess this is kind of rural, so they would have a well. But it's like, what if they drink from the well?
I'm sure that's an old abandoned well.
Yeah. Well, the water is right there.
Yeah.
I always thought it was weird to drink water from a well.
Yeah.
It's a hole in the ground.
Right. We have that in a lot of in most of the area here in Fairbanks. Most people are on well water.
But do they like filter it or boil it or anything like that? Yeah. Don't want to get any cryptosporidium.
Yeah. The biggest thing is arsenic gets in the well water.
Oh, right. And that can be released from mining operations, right?
Yeah. Yeah, just from the rock and stuff.
Yeah, how did this guy find out?
Yeah, Zelda shuts this down really fast.
Yeah, like, hey, your wife's going to have twins.
Yeah.
I guess he got the down the grapevine from hell that one of the demons had been exorcised, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, or maybe Nicholas Scratch told somebody, or it doesn't seem like something he would do.
Right. Well, your sister's excommunicated, so it doesn't seem like excommunication is really that bad for anybody.
Yeah.
Because all that happens is that, well, you're excommunicated. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like Hilda really minds that much.
Yeah. Did she lose her witch pension? That's why she's getting a job at the coffee shop?
Yeah.
Because I don't really see her life being changed in any way.
Yeah, well, and Zelda had even said, you already have a job here at the mortuary. What are you doing that for?
Yeah. I love the hair that she's going to get, the Bride of Frankenstein look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be hard for her to have to do that every day to go to work.
Well, yeah. But it seems like things just happen here. They're just,
that's true. She could do a magic spell to look like that, I guess.
Yeah.
Instead of taking 4 hours to do her hair.
A glamour. And did you see how many pancakes are in that plate?
Yeah,
it's nuts.
And nobody's eating them. She's got a rotary dial phone.
Uh-huh.
They're like hundreds of years old. They don't want to bother keeping up with technology.
Well, I guess they're outside of that whole mortal thing, so... Man, they have a lot of wardrobe for this show.
Yeah. I was kind of wondering why. I mean, I know they'll explain it here, but why did Jesse have to die? I mean, do you think he probably didn't even remember any of it anyway?
Yeah, that's a good question. I didn't understand why Lilith would go back and kill him.
Yeah,
Maybe so he wouldn't say anything to anybody about what happened, but like you said, he was unconscious.
Yeah. It seemed unnecessary, and then if Sabrina finds out about it, it'll drive a wedge between them.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yepers. And yeah, her friend is wearing the most like
feminine thing.
Yeah, and just weird, like retro, like it looks like she's a child of the Depression.
Yeah. But she got sort of guilted by that demon into trying to be normal.
Yeah, more binary.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool, the whole thing about the exorcism, I guess. Like I said, it's just hard to understand how someone would have their uncle like that for like months on end, and nobody really would do anything about it, except the father does, the brother does talk to someone to put him in an asylum.
Yeah.
But it seems like if he's like foaming from the mouth, spewing acid, and his skin is covered in blisters and blood, you should probably get him some medical help, not just keep him closed in your room like nothing's happening.
I never noticed before until I watched this last night that she put a love spell on Luke's coffee or whatever.
Yeah, I could see that one coming because Ambrose did ask her about, tell her that the boy he was dating was Chalfont or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically what Lilith is trying to do is she wants to groom Sabrina to take her place, apparently.
I wonder if, maybe it is something like that. And I wonder what it is that makes a half mortal, half witch special. It's like Blade, the Daywalker.
Yeah, I didn't know that the guy who plays Harvey is actually an American singer, songwriter, musician, and actor. He has a pop rock band called R5.
I didn't know that either.
And he's worked in Disney Channel original series Austin and Ally.
Huh.
Okay. Well, I don't really watch.
We're probably not the demographic for his music.
No. I think this is just a way of cutting like a loose end in the story, even though they could just say, yeah, he went to the asylum and he lives in a hospital now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's like they want to remind you, by the way, don't get too cozy.
Evil.
Don't get too cozy with this lady because yeah.
I don't like the cracking bone noise because it makes it seem like she like crushed him, but then that would show up in the autopsy, I guess. But then again, it's like, come on, this is cartoony. I'm overanalyzing it. Well, you got rid of the demon.
Yeah.
And this seems so stupid when she says, how am I going to outwit the Dark Lord? It's like, you think you're going to outwit the devil himself?
Yeah. But that is her plan. She's been saying that since the beginning.
Yeah.
Oh, because the lawyer told her if anyone can do it, it's you. Maybe you'll be the first.
Mm-hmm.
No one's ever beaten the devil before.
Except from, him, but he beat him in court. So he didn't really beat the devil himself.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I guess I didn't press the button in time, and now I'm in the next episode. So I'm going to pause it.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
So I'll be able to say when the credits are over. They're pretty fast anyway. I think they're less than a minute long.
Right. So it was an interesting episode, I guess, the Exorcism episode. I think I liked the chapter 5 a little better, even though it doesn't advance the story as much. But I thought the demon was a lot more interesting than the Uncle Jesse's demonic possession story.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to see what's going to move on into the next few episodes. So the season itself has 11 episodes, right? So we're kind of halfway.
Yeah. So we did 5 and 6 today. We'll do 7 and 8 in 2 weeks, and then 9 and 10, and then 11.
It's nice to see Clive Barker's art still pop up in a lot of shots in the back. So that's been a real treat to see throughout the show.
Yeah. This has been good. We'll keep following it at least through the first season. We'll decide later if we want to continue on into the second. And let us know what you guys think. Do you like us doing the commentary for Sabrina, the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina?
Let us know. What sort of things would you like to hear us talk in the commentary? Would you like to get more trivia about like actual witches, or would you like to more stuff about comic books? Because I'm not familiar with the comic books, to be honest. But yeah, give us some feedback. That's always the best way to make sure that our podcast can adjust a little bit to what people expect out of these things. Sometimes it's hard because this is not particularly my kind of show that I would watch normally. I'm just doing this because it was related with Clive Barker because it has the artwork in it. So it's not exactly the kind of show I watch, but
it's a good way to discover things, right? I mean, we would probably never have watched that The Last Movie Star,
right?
If it weren't for that.
And I actually really liked that movie. It was a fun experience. Yeah.
So next up, we'll be doing more news and Duels of Blood. Have you checked out the new round of the Duels of Blood?
Oh, actually, I'm going to vote it this weekend. Let me just check and see how we're doing there. So this is round 5.
I'm really happy that we're still getting roughly the same number of votes, even though you can only vote every 12 hours instead of every. I thought it would be like single digits, but it's not.
I just voted on Onaka against. I actually voted Devil Loot against Onaka. Take that.
Yeah, I know, and he's actually making a good showing. He's not winning, but he's not like it's not like a landslide.
Yeah, I just voted on all of them, so I'm actually voting underdogs this time.
Yeah.
I just did Devil Loot. I did Babette. I did Vasti Moses and Rachel. So.
Okay.
Yep, let's see.
Yeah. So I'll be excited to see the results of this one, and maybe in the future we'll just, if we do this again, we'll do 12 hours instead of 5 minutes.
There's bad news for Kinski though. He's losing against Rachel.
Yeah.
Nicholas Vince fans have to pick up the pace and vote for Kinski, because he's actually with 36% of the votes against Rachel, who's got 64. So he's down a third, and she's got 2/3 of the votes.
Okay.
Yep. Everything else seems pretty straightforward. So go vote. Round 4 ends April 26, 2019.
All right. Well, and this podcast, having no beginning, will have no end. You can find the show notes for this episode and join the discussion over at www.clivebarkercast.com, where we have news, features, reviews, and links to all the ways you can connect with us. You can subscribe on Apple Podcasts and every other place you can find podcasts. Clive Barker Podcast, or BarkerCast, is an independent editorial podcast and news blog that is not affiliated with or under contract by Clive Barker or Seraphim Inc. This is a labor of love by the fans for the fans.
Thanks for listening.